What's up everyone, and welcome to my first place undefeated Gohan deck profile. Surprisingly, it's not Vegeta, haha, but the Gohan's been doing pretty good for me lately. It's blue-green, I'm playing the Broly engine. I kind of want to call it Brohan, but call it whatever you want, blue-green Gohan. A lot of playtesting has gone for the deck. I'm pretty confident with the build I have right now. There are some stuff that I kind of want to take out, and some stuff I do want to put in, but I'll talk about that through the deck profile. So I did get first place at my locals the other day. It was about 40 people, I think. It was best of 1 and 5 rounds. First 2 rounds I faced starter deck leader Goku. Third round was a blue-yellow Vegeta. Fourth round was a pure yellow Ginyu, and fifth round was blue Vegeta. So matchups, I guess Vegeta theoretically would be a pretty good matchup just because they're killing themselves with their leader ability, and your leader ability is going to be a lot easier to like abuse, so that's pretty good. Just don't let that get to your head, because Vegeta is still a pretty good, really strong deck, because it has the crit and stuff. Crit's really strong, and the blue cards are probably the best colors in the game right now. So don't let them killing themselves get to your head too much. But it's a pretty good matchup nonetheless. And Ginyu is probably your best matchup, honestly, just because they don't have crit, so you don't have to worry about that. And I guess hard matches would probably be Champa, just because they're really aggressive and they won't let you abuse your leader ability as much as you want to. And the starter deck leader Goku is kind of tricky too, just because they have a lot of energy to work around. So if you play smart, you'll be fine though. So you don't really have that much of a bad matchup. Just play smart and know the deck. So if you don't know what Gohan does, if you have more life than your opponent, draw a card when he swings. Pretty basic, but it's really nice just because you can keep up with other leaders like Champa and Vegeta, so you'll be fine. And his Awakened side, you pay 6 energy and you wipe their battle card field, so that's really nice. People are really scared about that ability, honestly. They don't want to awaken you. They want to make sure to set up a big field to try to game you, but more than likely that's not going to happen, because you're drawing cards with his unawakened side, and you more than likely are going to have negates, and then your 10k defenders in your hand, so you'll be fine. So, but his 6 nuke energy ability is really strong. Sometimes you don't want to use it just because you kind of like, you can't play anything just because you're using a lot of energy. But if you play it at the right times, you'll be fine. Usually you just want to nuke when they have a bunch of big guys on the field, but that's obvious, So let's just get to the build already. We have the 4 1-drop blues, obvious for blue, and then we play 4 Bulmas. You kind of have to play the Bulmas just because you want to get energy up, and Whis does that kind of the best way, especially if you open up Objection, which is really nice. So then we have 1-drop Broly. Like I said, I'm playing the Broly engine. It works out really nice on the deck. It allows you to play green, and the Broly cards are really good. I'll get to how many targets I have once we get to later in the video, but yeah, 4 of the 1-drop Brolys. And for rounding up the 1-drops, we have 3 of the Slasher Trunks. So I'm only playing 3 just because you kind of want to see it in the beginning of the game, and you don't want to see it later in the game because they are useless later in the game. But in the beginning of the game, if you're not facing against Vegeta or Ginyu, then this card is the best way to start getting your leader ability going, because hopefully you go second, and then you summon this card, you swing with him, he goes through, and then if you swing with your Gohan leader, they're gonna be at less life just because he has 10k attack, so you get your Gohan leader ability going on a lot faster. So yeah, like I said, 3, because you want to see him in the beginning, but you don't want to see him later on. And then we have the 10k no cost, I don't know what you guys want to call him, but green has it for Trunks. So you play 4 of it. Make sure you play 4. It's really good. Start hoarding them in your hand. Never put them as energy, because they're gonna save your ass. And we have 4 the energy powered Gotenks. So I'm playing this card over the Saiyan Vegetas, the ones with crit, because he is a lot better than those cards in the later game. And I'll explain why. Because later in the game, your opponent's probably gonna be pretty low in life, and they don't want to be taking any more damage because they don't want to be in lethal or whatever, So when he swings at your opponent's leader, his auto goes off, they have to ditch a card in their hand. So that's already one card that they're using up. And if they don't want to take the hit, they're gonna have to be using up at least 1 or 2 more cards. And if you combo, then he's gonna be stronger. So they're gonna be using a lot more cards to make sure they don't get hit by him. So it's a really good pressure card, especially if you summon 2. It really pressures your opponent, and then they're gonna be swinging at these guys instead of your leader because they want to get rid of them. So it gives you more time to work with higher health than your opponent. So Gotenks is a really good card. Abuse it as much as you can, and that's why I like it better than I said Vegeta's. And you can drop it turn 3 if you really wanted to. So we have 2 of the energy boost Beerus. So theoretically, I wanted to play the 4-drop promo Broly, but I didn't have it because it was too expensive and I couldn't grab some on time. So I put these guys in just because they kind of do the same thing. In the tournament, when I summoned them, I didn't have any Brolys on my field, so if they were the promo Brolys, they would have been dead in my hand. And these guys did a lot of work for me because they're putting some pressure because they do have double strike and a 20k, and they got the job done popping a card, you know. So I didn't have to rely on having a Broly on the field. But you kind of do want to have more targets for the 1-drop Broly just so you don't fizzle, you know. But I did like the Beeruses in the deck in the tournament, so I don't know if I want to keep them and switch them out for the promo Brolys, but if I do, then you'll see it in a different video or something like that. But they did their job, so I was happy with that. And then we have 3 of the 4-drop Whis just to ramp up energy. You want to make sure you have more than 6 energy just because you don't want to be completely tapped out when you use your Awakened Leader ability. I was thinking about taking the Bulmas and the Whis, but I don't know how that's going to play out just because energy is pretty important in the game right now. So I am playing the Bulma and the Whis for right now. And then we have probably one of the best cards in the deck, the Super Saiyan Gotenks. So even if I didn't play the 3-drop Gotenks, I'd still play this card just because it's essentially a 3-drop, which is really nice. It's a really good card to start pushing pressure in your opponent. It's 25,000 attack, it has double strike, you untap 2 energy, and you draw a card. So it was either this or the 5-drop Vegeta that lets you draw 2. I think it's Godspeed Vegeta, whatever. Princess Speed, there you go. But I do believe this card's a lot better just because, like I said, it's essentially a 3-drop, and it does a lot of pressure on your opponent. And it's a green card. You want to play a little bit more green just because you have the big boy Brawlies you want to play. But yeah, he does a really good job of pressuring your opponent, and like you draw 1 less card from the Princess Speed. Like that's not that much of a big deal. So it's a really good card. Abuse it as much as you want. I didn't think it was that great at the beginning of the game, but now I see its full potential, and I would want to play more of it, but there's just not enough room, and I only summon like maybe 1. If I want to be cheeky, I summon 2, but usually I just summon 1 each game. So for the Battle Brolys, not much to say about it. You gotta play 4 just because you want more targets for your 1-drop Broly, and you want to start making your opponent lose cards in their hand just because the less cards they have in their hand, the less cards they have to start putting damage on you, and less cards for them to stop you from doing damage to them. So that's why I think the Broly engine works really good in the Gohan, because you're going to be high in health, they're going to be struggling to do damage on you, and you're still going to be drawing Unawakened and Awoken. So the Broly's do really good. And I'm playing 2 of the 6-drop. I was playing 3 of it at the beginning, but then I saw how dead it will be in the beginning. So I opted with 2 of them, and it's been good. I'm playing 4 bottles, 2 of these, and then 4 of the 1-drops. But like if you summon 1, then you essentially only have 9 targets, hopefully to hit. Usually I don't miss, but there's gonna be the off chance that you are gonna miss once or something, and it will suck. But you don't want to play the triple strike Broly, and like I said, the Beeruses do really good, and I don't know if you want to switch them out for the promo Brolys, but that is an option if you're scared of missing with the one drop rolling. But like these guys are really good. Not much to say about them, but you ditch 2 cards randomly in their hand, which is really nice later in the game because you might be hitting their 10k no cost guys, or their negates, which is really nice. And it's 30,000 attack, which is really good because they're gonna be using more cards to stop his swing to combo with. So like I said, your opponent's gonna have a lot less cards to use to stop you, and if they want to kill this guy, then they're gonna be using a lot of more cards too. And like I said, they're not gonna be hitting your leader card. So yeah, 2 is a good number for them. And for rounding up the battle cards, we have 2 of the Beerus. So sometimes I'm conflicted on which one I want to summon. Usually I could summon one or the other, but you want to play the Beerus just because if your opponent is at 3 life, it's amazing to try to pressure them on defending against this guy or using up the negates. And obviously they're going to be using losing 2 cards because of his auto ability, so that's really good. So usually I try to save this guy towards the end once I know they can't defend against his auto or something, or like I don't know, they're lethal. I usually summon this guy over this guy and save this guy for when I know I'm in a good spot, just because he costs 7 energy, and you don't want to be tapped out when you summon these big guys. You kind of want to keep 1 energy just because you want to use your Senzu Beans or your negates and stuff like that. But yeah, Beerus does a lot of justice and he does a lot of work, so I want to pay 2 of them. You don't want to pay more than that because the deck isn't centered around them. So then we have 4 Senzu Bean. It's a really strong card, really good for defensively. You never want to use it offensively. And it's a blue card. And now we have 2 Objection. So I don't know how many copies I want to play this card, honestly, just because he's only good turn 1 or 2, because you want to make sure your Whis, your 4-drop Whis is active during like turn 3. But later on in that, you're not gonna be wanting to play this guy. So so I don't dead draw him later on in the game. I thought maybe 2 is enough, but I don't see him as much as I want to in the beginning, so I might be bumping him up to 3, but it's okay at 2. It's just a risk of playing this card, honestly. And then for the negates, I have 4 of the Whis, best negate in the game, and 2 of the full power energy. So I'm not playing 4 of this card just because I don't want to have too many negates in the deck, and the deck is kind of cramped as it is right now. But it is still a really good card because it counters red a little bit, because you KO their Kaba when they attack, because you negate the attack and then it pops to a battle card that's 1 or less, or 1, whatever. So you pop the Kaba and then you save yourself a turn. Then against Broly, you could pop their 1-drop Broly, so that was really good. So that's pretty much it for the deck profile. If you guys enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and if there are any other Gohan players out there watching this, comment down your thoughts about it. If you have any tips or you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and let's see Gohan played more.